What up, y'all? I'm back with another video, and I'm here to finally do my wrap-up of 2022. It was June of 2022 when I did my wrap-up of 2021, and I promised y'all in the Kendrick review, I want to say, that I'd be back before June of 2023 to do my wrap-up of 2022. And here we are, recording as of April 5th, 2023, doing the wrap-up of 2022, and I can say for the first time in like 3 years, pretty much since COVID, I am caught up. I'm on the same wavelength on a week-to-week basis, day-to-day basis. Now I can pretty much say with music again for the first time in 3 years. So it feels good to finally be back here. Let's go ahead and do the wrap-up. I'm doing the wrap-up. I'm doing it all in one video. It's not going to be like videos for the past few years or so, where one's for the albums, one's for the EPs, one's for this and that. It's all going to be one wrap-up. Like I did in 2022, I think I only did one video. I think I wrapped it all up. And I'll also publish this on okaythough.com, but I'll also have more in-depth written summaries for each thing that I go over, or certain things that I go over that are more so the main things that I want to talk about. Let's go ahead and get right into it. For my Mount Rushmore this year, the 4 artists that made it are Your Old Droog, Streetz, Conway The Machine, and AJ Suede. Your Old Droog, because he had so many projects in 2022. They were like almost like EPs. They were like 7 to 8 tracks, 18 to 20 minutes long, and there were a couple to a few songs off of each project where I was like, I fuck with this beat, I fuck with this bars, the flow, I fuck with everything. Some of my favorite songs of this year were on these projects. Well, actually, you know what? No song made the Spotify playlist actually for favorite tracks of 2022, but just the hardest shit that I've heard all year came from Your Old Droog. Same thing with Streetz. Had one hell of a year. I will get to him a little later, but he heck yeah with his project, features, just a continuation of what's been going on since, last year in 2022 he dropped, 2021 he dropped Coup de Grace with Ransom, so it's like a continuation of that. Also in 2020 he dropped, I forget if he dropped anything was it Noise Candy 3 or 4 that he dropped in 2019 or 20? I remember reviewing that on my YouTube channel. So yeah, Rome is just, as time goes on, he's getting better and better. So it's really cool to see. Conway The Machine, well, he's on here because God don't make mistakes. Like I said when I reviewed the album, I felt like I'm closer. Like I know him more than anybody else that's in Griselda, including Rome, Benny, Westside Gun. I feel like I got to know him on this album. It was like the most personal that I've heard any of the guys from Griselda get. And his features as well. And AJ Suede. And he's in the same realm as Your Old Droog as far as dropping multiple projects throughout the year, where I was like, this is just fantastic. And I'll have more on AJ Suede as the video goes on. Now, my instrumental album of the year goes to Apollo Brown, This Must Be the Place. This wasn't even a question. This album was just fantastic. It's not the Odd Tape by Odyssey from May of 2016, but is it an instrumental album that I can point to and go, definitely check that out, just to walk around, ride around, maybe read, go running? Absolutely. Something just to have the chill in the background too. Absolutely. Next, we have my fave songs. Now, I will link my favorite songs of 2022, the Spotify link. I will link that in the description below, of course. But Spotify said that these are my top 10 favorite tracks of 2022. Girls Against God by Florence and the Machine, The Breakers, and One Easy Thing by TV Priest, Phantom Regret by The Weeknd, Old Friend by Earl Sweatshirt, Just Pretend by Bad Omens, Honey by Fleeting, and Song of Healing by Fleeting, Halloween by Kenny Mason, and Fable by Bones and Greyera featuring Lady Moon. Those are my top 10 favorite tracks of 2020. I'm not going to get into the top 10 albums. I'll save that for last. Let's get into the top EPs of 2022 for me. First, we have Doechii with the She Her Black Bitch EP, which is just on some Slay Queen shit for real. Absolutely. I fuck with it. I fuck with the feature that SZA had on there. I fuck with just this project. Like, came out, in July or August of 2022? And I was like, this shit it hits. It's quick. It's easy to listen to. Very enjoyable. Next, we have Violence, Let the World Burn. This metal EP, my goodness. I remember when I first heard it, I hit one of my friends up and I was like, bro, check this out. You're gonna fuck with this. And he did, and another friend fucked with this as well. Um, I have, you name it, hip hop heads, metal fiends, all types of friends that are music fiends like myself. Now, this next project, Liturgy, As the Blood of God Burst the Veins of Time. This shit right here, one song in particular, I don't, let me check real quick. Liturgy also, however you pronounce it, they also dropped, she actually, I believe, she also dropped a project in 2023, I believe, 93 696 was the project. Yes, she dropped it back in March. She dropped it not too long ago, March 24th, 2023. It's an hour and 22 minutes long. But the track 93 off of As the Blood of God Burst the Veins of Time. That track 93, that shit, like the way bagpipes kind of that high tone, that pitch kind of, it's not reminiscent, but to use an analogy, it's almost like it's so high pitched, it's like it pierces your ears and makes them bleed. That's what 93 at times sounds like by Liturgy, however you pronounce it, okay? Next, we have Bobby Sessions with I'd Rather Keep It to Myself. I have this on here because not only did I fuck with it, but I could also say this is one of the most underrated EPs of 2022 that I heard. It definitely made the tops, but I can't say I heard, but more so in general from the sense that I get from the pulse of the culture and hip hop. This kind of went under the radar, so I definitely wanted to bring it up and say that it was a dope project, as well as your Old Droog with Yod Wave. Best project that he dropped of the multiple projects that he dropped in 2022, without question. I want to say that what track was 500 off of? That was the best track of all the tracks that I'd heard off of all the projects that your Old Droog dropped in 2022. Yeah, 500. It was on this project. It was the third track. Absolutely fantastic. Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, did I add this to my favorite tracks of 2022? Yeah, it's already in there. So this did make that the playlist. And last but not least, for the EPs, we have A. Reese with Deadlines Free Part 2. And a blast from the past, or a name from the past, was featured on this project as a because I can't remember if he was rapping over this or if he was just featured as a songwriting credit. Quentin Miller. I was like, okay, what the fuck? That track. Yeah, Death was my favorite track off of this project. And I want to say this made my favorite tracks of 2022 as well. Yeah, it's in the playlist as well. So yeah, now we're moving on to the most underrated albums of 2022, in my opinion. We have AJ Suede with Metatrons Cube. Definitely check this project out. I was listening to it like 3 times in a row going, is this going to make the top 10? I kind of just spoiled the freaking top albums, letting you know that it's 10. But yeah, it's underrated, so I'm going to go ahead and say it's like an honorable. Because it's like, wow. Of all the underrated albums that I have featured, this is probably my favorite one. There's another one, and maybe a second one, a third one that competes for that. Next, we have maybe a fourth now that I'm looking at this. Boldy James and Nicholas Craven with Free Exchange, No Robbery. Boldy just keeps, like your Old Droog, well, like Rome Streetz, like AJ Suede, like your Old Droog, and a plethora of artists on here that aren't even, and I mean through the whole list, not just one subsection. Just keep getting better with time. It's just great to see. Nicholas Craven, I definitely know about his great production. Even before the Ransom collabs in 2020, they had like 2, 3 collabs, and it's like, yeah. This next project, Raheem Supreme and Wi-Fi God, Young Sax Fifth. Wi-Fi God just showcasing his versatility here with the production, and Raheem Supreme, he comes through and showcases his versatility as an MC. Like, he has such a unique flow anyway, and for him to just flow on anything that Wi-Fi put on here for them to link up, it was just like, is expected. Raheem is just like that. He's that fluid. Next album is Mayhem, Lauren, and Danger with Black Vladimir. I reviewed this project, and I remember, if I didn't say it in the video, I remember thinking at the time, like, this is going to be one of the most underrated, at the very least, hip hop projects of 2022. So yeah, it's an honorable as well, just like Metatrons Cube. And I'm going to go ahead and say that all of these underrated albums, in a sense, just for me to even make a subsection featuring them for underrated, I'm going to go ahead and say that they are honorable as well. Next, we have Akai Solo, The Spirit Roaming. I've been up on Akai Solo for a minute, and I've been expecting a project like this to drop, and it finally did. It's the same thing with Medhane, when I was like, he's going to drop some shit too. It's coming. I can feel it. He finally did. I just knew it was coming. And yes, the same thing with Solo. I knew that he was going to drop a project where I was going to go, this is the one, and it could be one of two or three, many, where I'm like, wow, fantastic. Like when he dropped True Sky back in 2021, that's when I really started to really get familiar with it, even with having a bit of a background on him before that project dropped. Next, we have Supreme Cerebral with the Loop 2, The House of Loops. This dropped back in January of 2022, and I was like, this is an early front runner. And I was thinking to myself, how's it going to hold? I think it's going to hold up. And it did, in the sense that I at least have it as an underrated / honorable album featured on this list. Supreme Cerebral, I've been fucking with him since like 2019, a few months before, I want to say, COVID hit. So it's like, yeah, I've been up on Supreme for a while now. And next, well, last but not least, we have Daniel Son of Future Wave with Sun Tzu and the Wave God. Daniel Son is just dope as hell. I've been up on him for a minute as well. He's kind of in the same realm as Supreme Cerebral and Raheem Supreme and Mayhem and AJ Suede and Boldy James Reels. Like, they're all here. Like, the renaissance is continuing. It didn't stop in 2019 and 2020, 2018 through 2020. It wasn't that little, like, where everybody was going, wow, it's like we're having a resurgence of just real high quality hip hop music. It's like another renaissance. It didn't stop. It didn't like stop or start in like you can even go back a little further, maybe 2014, 2015 through 2019, 2020. It's still continuing. We're still in this shit. And last but not least, we're going to do the top 10 albums of 2022. This is in no particular order. Let's just get right into it. First, we have Earl Sweatshirt with Sick. Earl, I need to go back and listen to Doors, because that's the project that I haven't really sat with like I have I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside, some rap songs, and now Sick. Earl just consistently dropping my favorite freaking projects. Like, he's reliable. He's Earl Reliable. That's what I'm going to start calling this brother. Earl Reliable, because I can just rely on him. Next, we have Lupe Fiasco with Drill Music and Zion. Here's another artist who's been in the game for longer than Earl. He's a veteran. He's one of the greatest of all time. He's still kind of unsung, hasn't got all of his flowers that I feel like he definitely himself kind of feels that way. And Lupe fans are kind of known for feeling that way about Lupe. And, I mean, rightfully so. I mean, Lupe, over the years, he's just dropped quality projects. Has he had projects where fans go, yeah? And I think, what was that? Yeah, but here he is again. You can put this up there with Tetsuo and Youth. Put that up there with The Cool and Food and Liquor. Like, Lupe, man, he did it again. I can't thank him enough. This is an essential project, talking about going further into more detail and in Lupe's own creative way, just talking about the plight and why drill music even has to be a thing in the first place, and why Chicago has to be seen as the drill city. And the next project, Florence and the Machine with Dance Fever. This shit came in and just rocked my world. I was like, wow, I feel so, like one of the tracks on there, I feel free when I listen to this. I feel empowered. I feel freaking like I'm overcoming something, or motivated to keep trying and keep overcoming. I feel just like Doechii, I feel like Slay Queen. Like, what? Hell yeah. And there's another one on here as well where I feel like just straight up Slay Queen. Like, not just like women, everybody, but women. Like, I feel y'all. I feel where y'all are coming from with these projects. Not as y'all do, of course, being that I'm a guy, but still. Next project, Conway The Machine with God Don't Make Mistakes. like I said, Conway, I felt like he got personal, and I felt like I got to get to know him, get to know not Conway the Machine, but the person behind Conway. I don't even know what Conway's name is. I don't even know Benny's name. Maybe Benny's name is Benny. Uh, Westside. I don't know what these brothers' names even are. But I felt like I got to know instead of the artist, I got to know the person um, behind the artist in Conway the Machine here. Next, we have Loyle Carner with Hugo. This project is so essential to me as it doesn't even matter that I'm not from the UK. Just this is an extension, another portrait being painted here of the black experience. It just so happens to be, well, this artist just so happens to be from the UK, and it does not matter. Loyle, freaking, just wow. He's just talking here about in the kind of in the same realm, but from a male's perspective and a black male's perspective, patriarchy, talking about toxic masculinity, plights that are associated with the black community and spoken on more freely by not necessarily by all black people, but when speak on it, because sometimes it's hard to speak on it in the black community. Just these things that we go through, whether in America or in the UK, worldwide. The next project, here we pro black right here with Black Thought with cheat codes. Black Thought and he collab. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. Black Thought. He collabed with Danger Mouse. Yeah, Black Thought and Danger Mouse with cheat codes. Obama's one of his favorite tracks of 2022 was on this project. It was the one with MF Doom. It was Belize. Rest in peace, Doom. Rest in peace. Freaking fantastic project. Kind of this solidifies. It, I'm not gonna say it solidifies. It only makes me question more my flirtations with putting Black Thought instead of the top 10 as a top 10 MC. It's making me more so after this project is dropped and having more time to sit with it. I'm looking at it and going, maybe my flirtations with him need to stop, and I just need to go ahead and put Thought in as top 5 of all time. This is just freaking great, man. Like Thought is just he is the original old reliable like Scarface. Another guys that I would put in the top 5 and kind of flirt in that top 6, 7, 8 category. Top 10 as well, but that top 5, 6, 7 is like, wow. And Thought is absolutely in there for me. Next, we have Nilufer Yanya with Painless. Going back to Florence the Machine with Dance, well, Florence and the Machine with Dance Fever. Like I said, just, of course, I'm not a woman, but I listen to this and I'm like, I feel y'all. I'm not one of y'all, but I hear y'all. I feel y'all. I get where y'all are coming from. I look in the mirror, listening to your lyrics. I look at other men. I look at society as a whole. It's like this is one of those albums where I'm like, this is so essential. That's fitting, given getting personal here, but where I am in my life right now for this album to drop, it's like it's perfect. It's essential. It's so fitting. And the next project I'm talking about is Worldwide Pop by Superorganism. Freaking pop album of the year, at least I can say that for me. If there's a category, like a sub category, pop album of the year goes to Superorganism with Worldwide Pop. This album is great. I mean, it's just freaking fantastic. Like 2 or 3 of my favorite songs of 2022 are on this project. Tracks like On and Flying and Into the Sun, I just absolutely love them. I love this project as a whole. It's 13 tracks long. I hit like on 9 of them, and the ones that I didn't hit like on, I don't even necessarily dislike them. They're fine too. There's not a bad track on here. I love this album as a whole, even if I didn't hit like on every single track. Definitely check this project out if you're looking for some pop to get into. Next, we have K. Dot with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I had a 30-plus minute review for this album. K. Dot, talk about the black man's plight, and talk about like patriarchy and toxic masculinity, daddy issues, and things like that. It's one thing for me to say that with Loyle Carner, with Hugo. K. Dot kind of just adds to that here, and just kind of normalizes. I remember when the album dropped last year, and he talked about having a transgender aunt now. or uncle. My auntie's a man now, transgender uncle, and just kind of normalizing, just talking about these things that are taboo in the Black community, whether it be daddy issues, toxic masculinity, mommy issues, just the Black plight in general, living in America under just hegemonic forces. So it's like, yeah, like for K Dot to drop this album, like I feel like K Dot here he kind of solidifies himself as dropping just. I don't want to I don't want to put him on a pedestal, but Kendrick really drops important fucking albums. Like Good Kid, Mad City was important. Smooth Butterfly is probably still his magnum opus. Damn, people go, yeah, and I understand why. It's a little more accessible. It's a little more pop, but it's still damn good for me. This is definitely better than Damn. Is it better than Good Kid, Mad City? It probably is, even though Good Kid, Mad City is more enjoyable, more accessible, more easy to listen to. So Damn is kind of in that realm as well. But and I've got Good Kid over it. Damn, I guess. And this is the kind of artist Kendrick is. He makes you go, yeah. You'll freaking contradict yourself, and you'll be like, let me put this to the side here. That's who Kendrick is. And last but not least, we have Rome Streetz with freaking Kiss the Ring. And this is so fitting because the run that Rome has been on for these past 3, 4, 5 years, for him to drop this after signing with Griselda, after the Coup de Grace project in 2021, the Noise Candy series, for him to drop this solo album, the debut solo album, I believe, on Griselda, for him to title it Kiss the Ring, and for it to live up to this hype and expectation, at least from me, has to make my freaking top 10 album of 2022. Shout out to Rome, man. Like I freaking DM him, man. I was like, you can't miss out here. Keep it coming. And I myself plan to keep it coming because even though this is it for the wrap up, we are right here in 2023, and I'm glad that y'all are with me. Y'all who have been here from the beginning of the channel, heck, even before this channel, and there were other channels before this. Y'all who were here from maybe it was 2015, 16, through the teens, 20 through 21, 2 or 3, whenever and however you find me. If you're still here and you're still watching, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you so much. Can't wait to do it in 2023. Like I said, I'm on a wavelength basis now. I'm on a week-to-week, day-to-day wavelength type of basis now. I'm finally back after 3 years. It feels great. I'm re-energized. It's fucking fantastic. I hope y'all as enthusiastic about me as I hope y'all as enthusiastic as I am. Not necessarily about this channel and from y'all's perspective, but just in general. I hope life's treating y'all well. These last 3 years, Jesus Christ. That's pretty much it. Thank y'all for watching. I love every single one of you so much. Check the description because, like I said, I will leave links from subsections of this list, like my top favorite tracks of 2022. I will leave that in the description, and everything else that I usually leave that's in the description below of every video. So be sure to hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button if you liked the video, hit the dislike button if you disliked it as well. Share the video, please. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and like the content that you see. Like I said, check the description, and that's pretty much it. And please come back because I will be back. Thank you so much, and I will see y'all next time.